welcome back to Rock My Bean, and from now on, and now we did ABBA, we did Pink Floyd, and now we're gonna do Led Zeppelin.
Yes.
We're gonna do Led Zeppelin, Fool in the Rain.
Fool in the Rain.
Fool in the Rain.
Yep.
It's just about a guy who told that he will come over, but he didn't came over, so he got his consequences to get wet.
Right. He's waiting for a girl, I think, to meet a girl, but something goes wrong.
Yeah.
She doesn't show up or whatever it is. And the
Yeah.
fact is that he feels like a complete fool standing in the rain,
Yeah.
waiting for someone who's not going to show up.
Yeah.
And anyway, this is from the In Through the Outdoor album.
Yeah.
Okay? It was the last album the band created as an album
Yeah.
and put it out. And it was the last tour they did, too. Unfortunately, John Bonham died, and they weren't able to go out and tour on this album. And so, as far as I know, and that was the end of Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
They did put out an album, Coda, which was songs that they had put out before.
Yeah.
But the band was gone by that time. They had said, we're done without John Bonham. We can't continue. And it was the right decision to make because John Bonham's drumming was the huge part of what made them sound so good. So it'd be like losing Jimmy Page. I mean, you can't replace these guys. So they made the right choice and ended the band.
Yeah.
But this album was their last album, and they were trying to incorporate new sounds of the 80s, the electronica, progressive electronica sound that was starting to become popular in the late 70s and early 80s.
Yeah.
And this is what they did, and they were definitely going in that direction. Rush was doing the same thing with their albums, Signals, and this time it was Moving Pictures. They were also trying to move in that direction. And it would have been fun to hear what Zeppelin would have done had they continued to go on into the 80s. What really creative, interesting stuff they would have done. It's a shame that they ended when they did, it happened when they did, because I really wanted to hear more of what was on this album being developed better for the 80s. But anyway, this is all we have. It's a really good album. Now, there are Led Zeppelin purists out there who don't like this album that much. I know the critics panned it. But I always liked the album. I think it had really good songs and good stuff on it. It was just as good as everything else I've ever did, and their musicianship was top-notch. Good songwriting, good instrumentation, good production. I can't think of anything wrong with this album. It's got some really creative stuff on it, and some interesting and fun songs as well. But this one is "Fool in the Rain," and this has got an interesting song in it. It's got a dun 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 dun, and then it stops with the whistle blow, and it goes into like a Caribbean style. It's a whole different beat, whole different song. Then it goes back into the other song again.
Yeah.
We're going to find out. So you ready to listen to Fool in the Rain?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's
Fool in
do
the
it.
Rain. 3, 2, 1,
go.
Hit it.
Like a star that can't wait for the night. I hate to think I've been blinded, baby. What can I see tonight? And the warmth of your smile starts burning, and the feel of your touch gives me fright. And I'm shaking so much with the earth. Why don't you show up and make it alright? Yeah.
Thank you so much. Led Zeppelin, Full in the Rain. That was fun.
It was, wasn't it?
What would be that? How would that be fun if you could play that song in the drums?
I actually can or could play it at one time. No, I could probably learn it again, but at one time I could actually play the song.
I really like John Bonham doing those. Ding,
Yeah.
ding, 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 ding,
Yeah, it's
ding.
an incredible drum part.
Yeah.
So just, I mean, this is a drum song. The song just revolves around that drum. You can see
Yeah.
when John Bonham died.
Yeah.
I continued the band. The guy was such an integral part of this band.
Yeah.
You just couldn't have it without him. Because this was a drum. I mean, it's a great song, but the drum it's centered around the drum.
Yeah.
And that playing the hi-hat and the snare
Yeah.
and the bass drum. So you had this very intricate drum pattern going on. And then when it switched with the whistle,
Yeah.
blew the whistle and went to that.
I was just there's one part.
Yeah. It was a Latin beat.
Yeah.
And I think they incorporated a Latin drum percussion person in there over John Bonham's drum part.
Yeah.
Because you could hear them doing that, playing those timbales and little cymbals they play. One thing about John Bonham's drumming, you'll notice if you listen very carefully,
Okay.
he never uses the cymbals excessively.
Yeah.
A lot of drummers tend to hit tons of cymbals. He knew when to bring that cymbal in exactly the right way. And a lot of his cymbals were just punches. And you hear it all throughout his songs. Bam! He would hit that bass drum and he would hit that cymbal with a big crash cymbal. Or it's a ride crash. He would hit that thing hard and it was bam!
Yeah.
And he did that all the time. But he never just went around hitting cymbals willy-nilly.
Yeah.
He used them to punctuate and frame the song in a way that most drummers didn't do. And he never overused the cymbals. I just noticed that about John Bonham.
Yeah.
He just never did. And he played the hi-hat a lot. He was very good at playing the hi-hat.
Yeah.
He didn't just sit on the ride cymbal like some drummers, so it's easier.
Yeah.
He played that hi-hat very well.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you had Plant's excellent vocals, and you had Jimmy Page's really interesting guitar noodling back there. Yeah.
Yeah.
John Paul Jones on the keyboard and the bass, playing a doom 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 doom.
Yeah.
But this was a drum song, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And so okay. So from 10 being the best song, 1 being the worst, we're gonna.
I go with a 10.
Wow. Well, good for you, Mark.
Yeah.
I think it's a 10 too. I like it. In fact, I think there's a lot of 10s on this album.
Yeah.
Some Zeppelin people would disagree with me, but I think this is an excellent album.
Yeah.
I think it is really on par with their best albums.
Yeah.
It just was, they were trying to do something a little new and different here.
Yes.
And I have to give them credit because music was changing in the late 70s and early 80s.
Yeah.
And they wanted to kind of move in that direction and see what they could do. And they could obviously do very good. These guys were geniuses. So they couldn't fall down. It was not possible. Which is what I wish they'd been around another 5-10 years just to hear what they could have done with the new technology and the new sounds.
Yes.
It would have been spectacular. It would have been incredible. And it's so sad that it ended here. And it's just too bad. But I'll give you a story about this album. Okay, I was in college. I just started college in the fall of 1980. Fall of 79. And this album came out on a cassette tape.
Yeah.
And I liked cassette because I could put it in my car.
Yeah.
I didn't have the record because I couldn't bring it with me. So I was all about cassette tapes then. And so we didn't have a Walkman yet. We just had the cassette players in our cars and at home in the stereo. So excuse me, I went down. It was downtown Chicago. I was going to college, and I went down after school or during lunch and bought the cassette tape at a record store. They had record stores then. You go and buy things at record stores. So I bought the cassette tape. And that's when I heard from one of the guys I was in school with that John Bonham had died.
Yeah.
And that Zeppelin was over. And the guy literally started crying in class because he was so distraught that Led Zeppelin is over. John Bonham had died. He was a drummer like me. But he was really, really hit hard by the loss, and that Zeppelin was over. And it was hard to imagine a band this good, this popular, being over. It was just like, how does that happen?
Yeah.
You know, they put this great album out, and now it's over. And
Yeah.
I'll never forget that scene. The guy had to leave the class because he couldn't stop crying.
Yeah.
It was just amazing. I mean, you know, I felt bad. I didn't cry about it, but he was really hit hard. And a lot of people were hit hard by that happening. John Bonham, who was one of the greatest drummers of all time. And he died because he had too much drink, because he was depressed. They had to go on tour and leave his son and his wife for months and months. He didn't want to do that anymore.
I think he really loved his son.
He really did, and his wife, and he didn't want to leave them. And it just was too much from the handle. And he
had a kid?
He had a kid whose son Jason now has played with Led Zeppelin, and he's played with
How old
with
is
the
he
band.
now?
I think he's in his 50s. And so, yeah, he was in his 50s, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he's got a band now that does Led Zeppelin songs.
Yeah.
So he's listened to his dad. He's played what his dad plays.
Yeah.
He's got his own style, like all drummers do.
Yeah.
But he knows how to play a lot of his dad's chops really well.
Yeah.
And he sat in for the Mothership show. We watched one of those.
Yeah.
When they were older, had gray hair here, and he was the drummer.
Yeah.
Now, some people said that's not Led Zeppelin. Well, okay, technically it's not, but they played Led Zeppelin songs, and it sounded just like Led Zeppelin. And so it was 2/3 of the band, or sorry, 3/4 of the band was there. So as far as I'm concerned, it was Led Zeppelin.
Mm-hmm.
If it had been anybody but Jason Bonham, I would have said no. But Jason, they like Jason. I like Jason.
Yeah.
He did a great job of doing his dad's part, so I'm going with it. Anyway, back to this song. So John Bonham died, and it was the end of the band, and that's all we ever had from Led Zeppelin. And it's so sad it ended on this note.
Yeah.
But I played the heck out of this cassette. I played it so much it fell apart. That's how much I like this album. All right. That's all we have, folks. We'll talk to you later. Remember to keep smiling, stay happy,
and keep rocking on.